All right. So we're going to be first playing the brand new Gamescom trailer for Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. Whole host of stuff that's been revealed in that. And then we're going to break that down because there is quite a lot to discuss, as well as, of course, the brand new games that have been announced for it. So let's check it out.
Yeah, guys in their 20s. What kind of video game are they gonna make? We knew that there was something special going on.
Fight! Fatality.
The freedom that we were given to create that game, in hindsight, was incredible.
Get over here! Flawless victory.
So there's a lot to unpack with this trailer. This is a great trailer. Gets you really pumped. Shows a lot of brand new stuff. I said originally that them and just simply announcing Special Forces and Mythology Sub-Zero by themselves wouldn't be enough. They've got to have a little bit more meat on the bone. And I'm pretty sure I talked about things like, hopefully we'll get to see some menus and stuff, and we absolutely did. So obviously the big reveals is the fact that yes, Mythology Sub-Zero and of course Special Forces have been added to the lineup. If you watched my previous video, I'm still holding out hope for MK Gold until we get definitive confirmation from them themselves. I'm still waiting because they got one more show left to do, right? But they've added a whole bunch of stuff. Now, of course, we get to see for the very first time the in-game menu. Now, I know someone was going, oh my god, they've added in MK2 PlayStation 1 version. No. If you go, so you'll notice that these particular boxes are in the shape of the version that came out, right? Like like whether a handheld, a console, or arcade. The shape of the box just simply indicates like the shape that the version came in. So Game Boy, also like Game Boy Advance also had square boxes with a stripe going down the side. You'll notice that they don't actually include any text. They don't include Super Nintendo. They don't include Mega Drive or anything like that. They just show that this is the box shape, original box shape with the art, but they don't actually show any of the logos for Nintendo or Mega Drive, like Sega, anything like that. PlayStation 1, see, like they don't even have it for PlayStation 1 as well. But this is nice and crisp. I know some people are saying it's a little simple. I don't mind it. I actually like it. Obviously, when you click on it, it'll pop up, it'll probably have a whole bunch of stuff around it perhaps. And then we'll just go from there, which is pretty awesome. So now one of the big things about digital clips, and this is what they do very well with all their collections, is telling a story. How did it all came to be? We've got even stuff in here from things like Narc, Pit Fighter, High Impact, Smash TV. All of this sort of stuff is being added in to actually tell a story on where it all started. Even before it all started, what were some of the inspirations, that type of thing. So that's very cool. We get to see the layout there, which is awesome. We get to hear a little bit from Ed Boon and John Tobias in this. It also, like here, you can even like click on the arcade machine and rotate it around to have a look at it as well, which is really nice. Some behind the scenes artwork, which no doubt is going to be amazing. Probably stuff that none of us have ever seen before, ever, is going to be making it into this collection. Now, also one of the brand new things that they've added in, which is obviously something that they've added in modern MK games, is a Fatality trainer. I can confirm, and I will do a separate video on this, 100% that practice mode will be enabled for Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, which means that you can load up any game, and I'm going to showcase that in a separate video to show you how it works, but you'll be able to load up any any game, characters, set your stage, that sort of thing, and then just go in and practice willy-nilly. So you got that, but then you also got a Fatality practice as well, a trainer, so you can set the unlimited fatality time, the distance on or off, so you can do the movement, and then I'm assuming the character will just move you into position. One button fatalities, and of course you can also, as it shows here, select your stage that you want to do it on, which is amazing. Also too, this is the Mega Drive Genesis version. I can tell instantly by the artwork. I played that thing that that is 100% that version. You can just tell. There's certain like washing out of stuff and things like that. You can absolutely tell it's that. So anyway, so that's a really great addition, and it's not obviously just going to be for fatalities like killing moves. It's also going to be for the friendships, the babalities, that sort of thing. Somebody asked yesterday, I think, what about a brutality trainer? Maybe. Who knows? I mean, if you're playing Trilogy and you start to do the input in the fatality trainer part, then it may do it, right? I really hope that's actually in there, because then we could get on-screen display of all the buttons that we need to press in order, in case you don't know them. Also showcases a little bit of online, player 1, player 2. I'm assuming this was captured independently to showcase what the connection's like. Also got local mode as well. And of course we have things like CRT filters, which I'm assuming will have things like bezels, like down the side. We'll be able to change like the side art or stretch it full screen as well. We've also got, which I was very hopeful for, is a music jukebox, so you can come in here and just listen to all the music from all the versions in the game. Like in this game, all the versions that they've added, all the particular music soundtracks for each version, which is going to be fantastic. Now, they've also got this thing here called Character Histories. I am going to do a separate video on this because I'm very curious about this. I don't know if anyone noticed this, but top row up to the right, in between Goro and Jarek, we've actually got what appears to be Chameleon, right? It's actually, if you look at it, it's actually in grey. It does say J on there. I actually wonder if this is an early build, by the way, that they're showing us here. Because, like, as you'll, so this is like all the characters, right? But some of them are still locked, which is like really strange, right? So I'm not 100% sure how this system works. Obviously, you click on each character, and it's going to give you a full biography. You might be able to see all of their, animations, like frame by frame. You might be able to, read up on all of their endings. All of that sort of stuff will be in there, I have almost no doubt. So that way, if you just want to sit there and just do some research, just have some fun, just read up on some of this classic stuff, you can. But yeah, as you scroll through to each version of the game, it hides blocks and only leaves what characters were there, and moving on. I know somebody's suggestion was like, well, why don't they just make it so that when you scroll to each version of the game, we then have, like, it's just MK1 character select screen, then it swaps to 2, then 3, then Ultimate, then Trilogy, then 4, and so on, right? I don't know. That's why I wonder what they're doing with this, right? Now, it's interesting too, because you'll notice here, obviously, and this is why I say it's an early build, because it's got the J there. When it swaps over to MK3, it actually swaps to properly Jade. But I do wonder though, because, like, we've got the picture of Jade, but it's not Jade, is it? It's Chameleon. It's female Chameleon, because we do have Katana there, and we do have Melina there. When it's highlighted for Mortal Kombat 2, you'll see here, right? The two girls are still on screen. All right, we also don't have Human Smoke listed here, or Noob Cybot either, or Shao Kahn. So there's, I think this is like an early preview, and eventually when we get it, we're going to see like really how it's all fleshed out. But otherwise, this is going to be great. You'll be able to come in and check out all of these characters, at your own leisure. Also, we got a rewind your mistakes feature. This was chef's kiss moment for me in this trailer, man. I'll tell you why. Because this fucking stage, for everyone that played Mythologies, did this. Everyone missed and everyone fucking died. Everyone. Right? Now, they've added in the option to be able to rewind. So you can just go, oh, fuck it, I'll do it again. So you don't have to go through the process of the cutscene or start at a checkpoint. You can just rewind it. For Mythologies, 100% we need that, and that's a hell of an addition. Now, the other question is, too, will this also apply to everything? So if you're just playing Mortal Kombat, like, you know, just standard arcade ladder, right? And you're getting your ass kicked, you just rewind it. Right? And do that. That's what I wonder. I wonder if they're going to do that. I have a feeling they are. Right? I don't think they're just going to lock it to the adventure games, but we'll see. Okay? We also saw a little bit here too. I'm actually going to do a comparison video. Because, like, with MK4 here, I can actually show the arcade ROM, even though, like, there are artifacting. But in general, the models are solid, right? So I'm actually going to do a comparison between what we're seeing in the footage here and the actual arcade ROM itself. Because I'm wondering, because it does look a little blocky. And I'm wondering if it's maybe the Switch version, perhaps. I don't know. Maybe there's an anti-aliasing option that you can have in there. So maybe it is from memory. Again, I can't, you know, it's escaping me at the moment. Maybe it was that sort of blocky back then. I don't think it was. I don't think it was that blocky. But I'd have to check, like the aliasing, right? Maybe there's an anti-aliasing option, right? So it smooths everything out. That'd be very nice as well. Obviously, there's going to be a whole bunch of other stuff that we're not seeing in here either. But yeah, this is a hell of a trailer. Like, this is a hell of a trailer. We got to see, like I said, that one of the most exciting parts for me was seeing how the menus are starting to look. And some of the features that we have available. I don't think we know all the features yet. Right, I don't think that's you know, we're going to know all the features just yet for this. So it's going to be pretty interesting. It's going to be pretty interesting because we got PAX coming up in just under a week, I think. And Gold has not been deconfirmed, right? And I said this yesterday that if you go check out my previous video, I go into in depth as to why I still think it's a possibility. There's a lot of clues still. But I do think that, God, that looks good. That menu looks so crisp. I do think that there is a possibility, but we'll see. But if they don't deconfirm it between now and PAX, if they just ignore everything, like Steven put out a comment, and I'll cover it soon in another video. He's like, you know, we understand people want this and that, whatever. He didn't specify certain games. He didn't rule anything out. Keep the hopium alive. But anyway, so that's the trailer breakdown for Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection from Gamescom. I have no doubt, because it says at the end here too, coming soon, right? We don't have a trailer showcasing the actual physical versions that you can purchase. So again, I'm going to reiterate. What I would do if I was them and I had indeed some more secrets to share, I would be leaving it to PAX. Have an announcement date for the game coming out then. I would also have at the end of the trailer, big surprise, MK Gold, and then showcasing footage of the collector's editions and things like that, you know, and the deluxe edition and art books, and opening them up and showcasing what you're actually going to get in a physical trailer, like an actual trailer, to show the physical stuff that you're going to get. Also, by the way, one of the big reveals too, which was a shock, I had no idea what this was, so I'm learning something every day, is something called WaveNet. WaveNet was apparently, so it was on Ultimate MK3 and apparently MK4. It allowed you to connect arcade machines to other arcade machines in different cities, right? It was closed. It was on essentially like their own, I think it was a T1 network, and it allowed them to do that. Now, obviously, we don't need that, right? We don't need the internet side of it. But what they did do with Ultimate MK3 is that they actually made some fixes. I'm going to cover that in a video. Apparently, there was a Striker Infinite. I think that was fixed. They also made it so you could play as Noob Saibot, which is why they specifically show Noob Saibot here in the trailer as well. So it's going to be, and that's Noob's Dolphin too, by the way. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what's going to happen with that. But I have done some research into the possible stuff that, like the changes and stuff they've made. But essentially, this was the final version of Ultimate MK3, but it never went worldwide. Like, it was just in these very select locations, I believe in Chicago or whatnot. So it never went worldwide for anyone to sort of, like, you know, eventually dump the board as a ROM, because nobody has it. right? Nobody has it. Okay. So, but anyway, guys, I'll leave it there. Let me know what you think of this trailer. Look forward to more videos coming out. I am absolutely going to break this down in piecemeal because I have a lot to say about all of this sort of stuff. But yeah. Anyway, guys, catch you next time.